That's the problem we have today. Hero, over to you.
Right, Tony. Hold on, Tony. Before we go to Hero, look, there's a couple of guys. Let's give them another chance
Oh,
to come in. We've
where are
got
the guys? Yeah. Okay, cool.
there's a couple of guys in there. We've got Philip there. We've got Godson there. I don't think they've said anything all night. They've been here all night.
Yeah, okay.
Let's give them a
I did
chance,
ask
guys.
Godson.
You must have
I did
heard
ask Godson.
something. No, I know you've asked. I know you've asked. Yeah, let's give them because we've gone on a bit now. We've added some other caveats to the conversation. Let's see if they've got anything to say. Godson, are you there? I know he's still there. I
Philip?
see him on the thing. And Philip, I think it's Philip.
Yeah, hi everyone. Sorry I'm here,
Okay,
but I'm just making my way back home from work. So I was just
okay,
Okay,
enjoying the conversation, so I'll be fine with it.
okay.
okay. Wait,
All right. Let me
where are
let
you?
me
Are you
let me just
UK? Are you UK?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay, good. Nice hearing from you. Go
okay.
on, go.
Let me just ask you this question then. Let me just ask you this question as a newcomer, then, as it were. Based on what you're hearing so far, because it's always good to get take from new people. What do you think? What do you think of the kind of the discussion, the kind of topic? If you weren't on the move, do you think it's something you'd have been able to maybe contribute to or give us your take?
I'm actually interested with the last part of the conversation where we mentioned, like, I feel like we hit the nail at the head by mentioning the decentralization of the thing. I think that's the major issue we
Okay.
have in our.
Okay. Good.
If
Good.
we are able to know what the masters think they know better than we do, then they have no control over us anymore. And the
Yeah. Yeah.
mindset issue, I think, can be managed from that aspect. Because I see
Okay.
some of us here, the Indians most especially, they feel like,
Mm.
I feel like they seem to be at the top, and they see themselves there because they have that mindset, because they want to know what the masters feel they know. And that's
Yeah.
what I think we should work towards, eradicating the mindset of slavery. Because down within me, I feel this way, and I'm happy to join this. That's why I've been here all night. Um,
Good. Good man.
I ask myself, what am I even doing? Like, yeah, I'm still serving the masters in a way, even though I've got my
Mm.
certificate and all of that, but I can't really
Okay.
say I've built something for myself. It still goes back to them. So
Yeah.
it
Okay.
goes on the fact that we need to build ourselves to that level where we can say, yes, I think I know what you think you know. Um,
Mm.
and we take it up from there and then see what we can do for ourselves. Because I think we are
Mm.
trying to figure out who we are actually in Africa. It seems like we lost it a bit, and we're trying
Mm-hmm.
to find our foundation once again. But it's not lost for me. I think it's lost. It's just that we are a bit distracted by the centralized affairs that are going on around us. That's what I think. Wherever we are,
Okay.
because yeah, home is
Okay.
home, and whatever we do, we see fall back home, and it's good to build home
Mm.
better than wherever we think we
Yeah.
are, and that decentralization is what I think we need to focus more on.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, thanks for that, Gosling. Thanks for that input. Very positive. Like I say, it's always interested to hear, what a new face, a new aspect. But can I just go on to what you said earlier, Tony, about and just send it all to all the guys really about the generational legacy. Love that because one of my questions in earlier on in the conversation was that how are we going to move on from the lies being sold to us. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about building generational legacy. Generational legacy is not just always about money and material things. It's about wealth of knowledge. It's about wealth of knowledge. We've mentioned we'll have children here. Some of us have grandchildren. Yeah, there may be people that even have great grandchildren, and so we're seeing 2 and 3 generations ahead. And so it is important to do that. Look, I, for one, I go into schools. I have the pleasure and the privilege to go into schools and really adopt this thing, not just about academics, But some of the issues that Tony talked about there, the decentralization, the finances are absolutely massive one, and obviously the artificial intelligence. And I believe, along with I think many of us here, that is a way forward. That what we're doing now, we're trying to harness some information and be able to project that, be able to impart that to the younger generation coming up. Yeah, harness it and impart it. Yes, so that it's just creating that equilibrium there, because as Sonny said before, that hierarchy of the being at the top and the things filtering down now needs to go the other way. Young people, I believe, will be very interested and very sort of intricately involved, knowing that look, they have a part to play in this. Young people don't want to just be spoken to and dictated to. It's about the involvement and knowing that their involvement is not just some kind of flimsical one. It's something that's impacting, and does make sense. So I believe I'm just tuning in and just saying that the way forward that could be, and I believe should be, an area that we can really get to grips with, And so again, people that are watching, people that see this, and see that what we have a solution. We're not just going round and round in circles, talking about stuff aimlessly. There's a template. There's something that we can adopt, as a tangible solution. Yeah. So that generational legacy aspect is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
The question
Hero wanted to say something.
What's the way forward? What is
Okay.
the solution forward?
Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute, Joseph. Yeah, but Hero wanted to say something when we were talking to a new person. So then let's and then we'll talk about the way forward. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tony. Okay, so I'm just trying to reiterate what you have said so far, and just to add my voice to it. When we talk about this slavery, it just occurred to me that the people that owns the platform are the masters. Just let's look at it from that angle. The people that owns the platform are the masters. The people that uses the platform are the slaves. So if you say you are not slaves, I want you to think about if they take away your handset from you, take away this Zoom platform from you, take away Facebook from you, what is left? Take away internet from you. Do you have control of these things? So that is what Tony is talking about when you talk about being consumers.
Yeah.
And in Africa, we don't believe that we can produce anything. And it goes down to whatever we're discussing here today. And I feel like part of the solution, as we talk about it, is that I told somebody some years ago there's going to be a massive exodus. People from the West, people from Europe, from America will be coming back home. It's going to happen. It may happen today. It's going to happen.
Definitely.
These guys are going to come back. If you read the Bible, when Joseph went to Egypt as a slave, at the point, he turned out to be fine and invited the brother. They were enjoying their lives. But Joseph knew that the day will come when things will turn around. And he made the instruction to them and said, take my bone back. Don't bury me here. Make sure you take this bone back. So all of us that are trapped in Europe, I believe a time will come because we need to start passing this information to our children. Like Tony said, it's not about us now. The point is that we came from a root. We come from an origin. And a black man, if there's a network that network all the blacks around in the world, we'll take over anything. There's no system we can collapse. There's no system we can build. And it's going to happen. It may not happen today, but I believe strongly that the time will come when there will be an integration everywhere in the world.
Yeah,
and we're going
definitely.
To
You're right.
But look,
You're right.
What you said there is true, especially if we, as the black people, if we have a network and we put it together. But guess what? A lot of us have been enslaved minds. So what we do is when we come together, we fight one another, and we divide. We've been used to divide and rule. What the whole slavery thing was divide and rule. And it takes a while to get that out of the system. And that's why I say the solution, as Joseph was talking about, is us now educating our younger ones so that they don't follow the trend. We have followed the trends of our fathers and our forefathers. Yeah, we can break that by educating our young ones and say, look, this is how it's being done, but this is how you should do it. Yeah. Yeah. You should love one another. You should work with one another. You are beautiful. You are powerful. You are strong. You are great. Yeah. You know, I had a great experience today with one of the teachers. I went to a parents' evening, my youngest son's parents' evening, and the guy is a French teacher, and he goes, you know what? Your son is a pleasure to work with. I said, whoa, lucky my son. And he said, look, he's so kind, he's so caring, he's giving, and so on. And that's a reflection of your parents. Do you understand? And he told him, don't change. But what it is that's us training them, being kind, be giving. If somebody wants
Yeah,
to
yeah,
leave them, and so on. So we've got to do that to our kids.
yeah.
And we've got to tell them, look, decentralization is on its way. Yeah. Now, decentralization means that the money will come through everybody. That means the masses will be in control of the majority. Yeah. You can't have the minority in control of the majority. And that's where that's where poverty happens. That's when inequality happens. And that's where slavery happens.
Mm,
Yeah. And then
mm,
we feel enslaved in the mind because we can't breathe. We can't do anything. That's it. Yeah. So, Shola, I
yeah.
think you wanted to talk to some new people. There's some new people on the call. Do you want to go? And then we finish, we'll wrap up. Yeah. Yeah.
No, no, it was just those couple. It was just I think you spoke
Okay.
to one. I
I think
think
there's
Godson was
somebody
one. There was another guy,
called
Philip. Is Philip?
Philip, and there's one,
Was his name?
any new person that wants to talk. There's someone called Osita, and there's somebody called
That's it.
Beardon. Beardon's not new. Beardon, what do you have to say?
His name.
Beardon,
All right. Good evening, everybody.
good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's a very interesting and a very broad topic as well, because I've been listening. In as much as especially Mr. Tony talking about decentralization, talking about orientation. Yeah, one part I want to agree with him. The other part, yes, not that I would want to. I want to disagree, but looking at it from the reality point, he made something clear that the right from the onset, there's this divide and rule thing they applied to deceive us. Now that is eating into our bone marrow. That now is the orientation part of it. What you can, the way you can orientate younger ones, over there in the Western world, the blacks, is different from how you apply it here in Africa. Say, for example, Mr.
Mm,
Tony, you can easily talk to your kids, like call your attention and say, look, this is what you have to do. You need to be integrity, discipline, and these are things to avoid. Is easier because one part you are being responsible, playing your part correctly, so that normally the kids will know my father is fully responsible for me. But over here in Africa, there are situations whereby a lot of parents willing to do, but don't have the resources. So a child that needs to pay a school fees, that probably is in a school that the school fees about 500 to a million, and the parents can't afford that. The child has to go hustle, and some of them are to even involve in some online crimes just to survive. And you imagine that kind of parent coming to tell the child that, look here, you see, part of the most important thing for us is, sincerity, integrity, discipline. The child knows that he's been in an act of making money online in a fraudulent way to survive. That kind of a child, that's one problem for you, because you are unable to make resources available for that child for his or her survival. So the child is on his own struggling to survive, and they only deal with what is made available for them to survive. So that is one problem. Then also, when we look at
But,
it now, the
but
way the system,
Beardon,
yes,
before
sir,
you go to that one point, why,
yes.
you're talking about poverty there, isn't
Part of it, you see, this is, you made from the answer, you said the divide and rule.
No, but what you're
Look
saying, a
at divide
child
and
doesn't
rule.
have enough money and the school fees is not, they don't have to pay for food. That's poverty, isn't it?
Well, part of it,
Yeah,
part
well,
of it, sir.
it has to be
Because
poverty.
poverty,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
poverty created, right?
yeah, yeah. So,
Created
yeah. So
because
what it is then? The poverty That's what we're saying, really, isn't it? We're saying poverty leads to slavery. Yeah, because eventually that person will have to do something that they don't want to do morally, and they will be encouraged to do things just to be able to have a meal on the table.
Yes.
Yeah, do you understand?
Yes,
And
sir.
either whether it's
Yes,
legal
sir.
or illegal,
Yes, sir.
yeah, eventually, if they don't go
Yes, sir.
into prison, they'll end up, in one of these issues, these places where slavery exists.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir. So now another problem we have, because I said agree and disagree because
Yeah.
he's broad.
Yeah.
Actually agree, but I'm just saying that the application now, because I love the fact that they said uh, we desire to have one network Africa for blacks.
Yeah.
But where the problem is? Presently now, like the ECOWAS, we have some West African countries who have pulled out of ECOWAS because of the application of some country rejecting France because they believe that they're being colonized and being used. Now France is now romancing other countries. So you see, this is bringing division, is breaking the house. Gaddafi, this proposal you mentioned that we have one union, one Africa together united. Gaddafi brought the proposal. He was maybe too outspoken, let me use the word. Now, he had to pay for it with his life. They did whatever they do because they know that thing he brought up is going to lead to a very big success for Africa, but it's going to be a dent for the Western world. They have to do whatever it is. Now, the issue we're having here in Africa is a lot of young guys, youth, have it in mind. They know that is a problem, but how willing to solve this problem? The government already, with the Western world, are already in the system. They control them. Take for example now, Tony, we pay the NEPA power that is meant to be one of the major source of whatever economic growth. Now, a lot of people are being deprived of it, that the rate at which they charge now is outrageous. This is one of the problems. There are other problems that now we talk about going to school. There are a lot of graduates that don't have, they are looking for, because I'm looking at, yes, it's a proposal you brought in. That's why I said we have to look at it. How do we solve the one? Is it the same application for the UK and for the Africa? Because that's where the problem is.
I think you've got some good points there. But I think one thing I'll say to you is that everything you've said so far, first you mentioned poverty and then you mentioned centralization. Because ECOWAS is just centralization. Whether they all agree or don't agree, who's at the table? Who is at the table? Yeah, the same people that are ruling, isn't it? The same minorities that people feel suppressed with occasionally. Yeah. So what it is the thing is that's centralization. Yeah. You talked about one last thing just now. What did you say just now? You said something just now about you said something just now. What's the last thing you said?
Government, about the power.
Yeah, the power.
Is it about the power?
NEPA is centralized. It's centralization. This is the problem that we're all having. Now, the thing is, decentralizing NEPA. How do you decentralize NEPA? That means the people own it, don't you? Now, the other thing is, if you don't want the people to own it, guess what? Solar power. If every house had solar power on, then guess who's in control of power now? Who's in control of power?
The individuals.
Exactly. So that takes the power away. Now, if every house had power, solar panel, then guess what? Power is decentralized. You'll be selling power to NEPA to supply those that want to be centralized. Yeah, I'm just giving you examples. I'm not saying too much of this, but thanks for that. Because of time, I just saw Philip. Did you want to say something? Philip, do you want to say something? Yeah.
Just want to appreciate every comment and every donation everyone is bringing to the table, and I'm just happy being here. And I just want, for the first day, I just want to be listening to the opinions that everybody is just bringing and be also learning from it like that. I don't have much to say.
Well, you had a lot there.
Okay. Thanks for that, Philip.
Yeah, I
Welcome,
just
sir.
wanted to also add what the other before Philip was saying. You know, the thing is, what is the solution for? That's one thing. The other thing is, if Nigeria is producing oil, for example, many minerals, and we have to export the oil to be refined and send it back to us, and they sell us at a higher price. Who is in control? I think the problem with the infrastructures of Africa is about leadership, leadership, leadership. We haven't got the leadership to challenge. And Africa is not a threat to European economic power, to the West economic power. The reason why they had to make changes to Germany and Japan is because they became a threat. So in order to sober them, they build their economic. Why isn't that, the question I asked earlier, why isn't that done for Africa? Why is it hundreds and centuries they have not helped to develop or assist to develop Africa? Yeah, where so much is taken and nothing is given back. And that goes to the heart of mental slavery, indoctrination. Why are Africans dying in the sea? Why are Africans leaving their home in order to gain economic betterness in Canada, in US, in China, and everywhere, and they've been discriminated against?
All right. Thank you, Joe. That's a good point.
Thanks for that.
Shola,
Yeah.
I know you're going to wrap up soon.
Yeah, rounding up because I need to. I've got another
this
call.
problem, don't we?
We're busy. It's not a problem. It's not a problem.
So Shola, you know what? What I want to quickly say is black men do talk. We started this whole show off saying black men don't talk. Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Don't start, we don't stop.
Well, we've burst the myth. We've burst that myth, then, haven't we? The myth has been blown apart. Okay, just to kind of round up, I just want to ask two kind of rhetorical questions then, because as I said, I'm always about looking for solutions, and I think we have presented a tangible solution. It's what you said earlier on, Tony, about the generational legacy. I think it's massive. Generational legacy, I'm going to reiterate, it's not just about the hard money and just giving an inheritance like that. It's about the mindset. It's about tuning a different way of thinking. And, I want to ask this question. What price then are we ready to pay for that transformation to take place? Because it's easy for us to sit and fold our hands, and be talking so much about the past and so forth. What's the way forward? Our young people want to hear solutions. They want to hear their elders have something tangible to say that's going to present a track, of progress for the sake of their generation and the generations to follow. Yeah. And then the second part of that is then how do we? Well, it probably will links in anyway. How do we break that age-old kind of unprofitable trend or pattern that Tony talked about before, that kind of hierarchy? And I believe it is, through communication like this, being able to sit. Tony talked about, being able to sit with his, with his sons. I'm able to do very much the same with my daughters, and I'm sure many of us are here able to talk laterally with different generations, and already that's a shift in the right direction, because in the past that wasn't being done. It wasn't being done because of mindset and a certain trend and a certain pattern. So there's already movement. It's not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in a year. It may not happen in 5 years, 10 years, but it's going to happen because the way it's been opened. That track has been set now. So, gents, that's all I've got to say on the matter. I think Tony's going to round off. But yeah, if anyone's got anything to add, maybe Tony wants to do a one-liner. I don't know, but that's me. Thank you, guys.
I think you've wrapped it up already, Shola. I think, to be honest with you, in terms of
All right.
Joe's question, look, let's teach the younger ones to break away from the invisible chains of slavery. Yeah. And that will start things going. And also let's start paying attention to modern technology. Modern technology can help us, become free of slavery. Yeah.
Definitely.
Some of us, and the biggest problem we have right now is all the centralized people are making it so hard to decentralize. Yeah. They are blocking every route of decentralization. In Nigeria, they're doing it. In Ghana, they're doing it. The governments, the banks, but they're scared. They're running scared because they know that if the money gets into the hands of the masses, good things are going to happen. Yeah. So I think one of the things I'll say to you guys is obviously, thanks for coming on the call. Thank you for all your contributions. And also look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time on the next podcast. This one, if you didn't hear it enough, the recording will go out between now and next week. We usually break them up into pieces. So remember, let's break away from what was that song again from Bob Marley again?
Oh, emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
Don't sing, Tony.
No. I like the next line. What's the next line?
I can't remember the rest of it.
Can free our mind.
Say that again.
There you go.
Say again.
None of us can free our mind but ourselves. Only
fantastic.
Free our mind.
Emancipate from mental slavery.
There you go.
No one can free your mind.
None of us can free our minds. Next bar, come on, let's end it, man. We can't.
All right, guys. See you next week. See you 2 weeks' time.
Take care, guys. Good night. God bless. 2 weeks' time.
Bye.
Take care, guys. God bless.
Bye.